and good day to anyone watching. In this podcast, I will be discussing two different scenarios that are quite common occurrences in school and group activities. They truly focus on how to behave professionally with ethical standards and a bit of conflict management for students that can really help us understand how important responsible and ethical decisions are. Shall we start on the show with scenario number 1? Scenario 1: Academic integrity and peer pressure. Emma is in a high school where her classmates frequently share answers and cheat on assignments. The teacher is strict but does not notice the cheating because it's done subtly. Emma feels pressured to join in to fit with her peers, but she is also committed to maintaining her academic integrity. She must decide whether to conform to the cheating culture, to avoid conflict, or to stand firm against it, risking her social acceptance. Now, what we explained in this scenario is Emma studying in high school where cheating has been normalized. A lot of her peers engage in this academic dishonesty without ever being caught by her teacher. And she feels the pressure to join in, since if everyone is doing it, how come she isn't? But she doesn't do it because she values academic integrity. I feel very connected to Emma, coming from a high school where cheating was, in fact, normalized. So much that a simple question about your opinion on something required all the cheaters to crowd around a single person with an internet connection and take turns using ChatGPT. Yes, seriously. And I'm not sure if the teacher ever noticed it or not, because I definitely did, but they just never really broke it apart. So that's my experience with this scenario. Question number 1. What ethical standards should Emma uphold in this situation? Discuss the importance of academic honesty and the impact of cheating on personal integrity and fairness. First, Emma should uphold ethical standards such as honesty, responsibility, fairness, and integrity. Academic honesty is very important because it reflects a student's true knowledge, effort, and character. Cheating may be quick and easy, that's why they do it, but it damages personal integrity and creates unfair advantages over students who do work honestly. It also weakens trust between students and teachers. And if I'm being honest, it made me scared that teachers would think that I cheated. It all felt very unfair. Furthermore, people who cheat don't learn anything. The school teaches and prepares you for the world. If all you've been doing is cheating and not learning, you have wasted the time you spent in school. And in turn, be so dependent on tools that you have to ask ChatGPT in the middle of a job interview how to answer, "What do you do in your spare time?" Should Emma conform to her peers' cheating practices or refuse to participate? If she chooses to conform, what type of conformity is she engaging in? Explain your reasoning. Emma should refuse to participate in cheating even if it risks her social acceptance. Ultimately, it is still just high school. Choosing honesty is the more ethical and professional decision in any case. Cheating will never be justified. If Emma decides to conform and join the cheating practices, the type of conformity she would most likely engage in is compliance. She would do it for social acceptance. After all, if she also cheats, she wouldn't out herself, would she? So then every cheater is an accomplice. This is why she would do it, not because she believes cheating is morally correct. Question number 3. If Emma decides to conform by participating in cheating, is it due to a desire for acceptance, a genuine belief that cheating is justified, or a need to fit into the group's norms? Provide details to support your answer. If Emma participates in cheating, her behavior would mainly be driven by the desire for acceptance or compliance, as stated earlier. She may feel afraid of being excluded by her classmates or judged for being different. Or in an even worse case, they might look at her with suspicion, as she could always rat them out to a teacher. In this case, she is not changing her personal beliefs about honesty, but instead adjusting her actions to match the group's behavior. Question number 4. What conflict management style would be the most appropriate for Emma if she decided to address the issue of cheating with her peers? Why? If Emma chooses to address the issues with her peers, the most appropriate conflict management style would be collaborating. Collaboration allows Emma to express her concerns respectfully while also listening to her classmates' perspectives. Instead of attacking or avoiding them, or to be more realistic, just straight up ignoring it, she can encourage healthier academic habits and suggest better ways to help one another, such as group studying or tutoring sessions. This approach promotes understanding, teamwork, and positive change, which we really need in this current landscape. Overall, this scenario teaches us that professionalism begins with integrity. Even when peer pressure is strong, students should remain committed to honesty and fairness. What's the point of going to school when all you do is the opposite of what you came here for? Scenario number 2. Fairness and teamwork in group projects. Alex is assigned to a group project where the group members expect him to take on more than his fair share of the work. The group is tight-knit and values teamwork, but Alex prefers working independently and feels overwhelmed by the extra responsibilities. He must decide whether to conform to the group's expectations by increasing his contribution or to assert his own preference, which might lead to conflict with his teammates. The second scenario focuses on Alex, who is assigned to a group project. His teammates expect him to do more than his own fair share of work because they believe him to be capable and reliable. However, Alex prefers working independently and starts to feel overwhelmed by the extra responsibilities given to him by the group. These scenarios are hitting a little too close to home for me. I also prefer working alone and definitely being dumped with extra responsibilities due to it. Question number 1. What ethical standards should Alex consider in this situation? Discuss the importance of fairness and equitable contribution in group work and how balancing personal preferences with team expectations impacts group dynamics. In this situation, Alex should consider ethical standards such as fairness, responsibility, accountability, and respect for teamwork. In group work, every member should contribute equally so that the workload is fair and balanced. Just because one person is more capable does not mean they get to do most of the work. When one person does, it can create stress, resentment, and an unhealthy group dynamic. At the same time, teamwork also requires flexibility and cooperation, especially when challenges arise, as everyone is helping out, not pointing fingers at the one person who did most of the work. Just because he does prefer working alone does not mean the whole group disappears and he becomes a one-man team. Question number 2. Should Alex conform to the group's expectation by increasing his contribution, or should he assert his preference for less responsibility? If he chooses to conform, what type of conformity is he demonstrating? Justify your answer. Alex should not simply accept an unfair workload without discussing it. Instead, he should communicate his concerns professionally and respectfully. But it is not a preference for less responsibility. It is an unfair distribution of work. However, if Alex does chooses to conform by taking on more work, the type of conformity he demonstrates is compliance. That is because he is agreeing to the expectations mainly to avoid conflict and maintain acceptance within the group. I might sound a bit heated, it's due to me being put in a similar scenario in the past, and I chose to comply instead of discussing it with the group. I actually resonate quite well with Alex, so I feel quite a bit of injustice on his behalf. I chose to accept because it was too much of effort. It was too much effort, really, to talk with the whole group and to redistribute all of the tasks. Question number 3. If Alex decides to conform by taking on more work, is it because he wants to gain acceptance? He genuinely believes in the value of teamwork? Or he wants to align with the team's norms? Explain your reasoning. The reason this is considered compliance is that Alex may not truly believe the workload is fair, as it isn't, but he still accepts it because he wants to keep a positive relationship with his teammates. He may feel pressured to meet the group's expectations in order to avoid tensions or criticisms, even when it was not his fault, that he just prefers working alone. Question number 4. What conflict management style would be most effective for Alex if he chooses to discuss and resolve the workload distribution issues with his team? Why? The most effective conflict management style for Alex would be collaborating, as what I have learned as well. Collaboration allows the group members to openly discuss the workload and create a fair solution together. Alex needs to learn to speak up about his experience, like how he feels overwhelmed, while the team can share their expectations and challenges as well. Through collaboration, the group can divide responsibilities more equally and strengthen communication and teamwork. You cannot call it a team that values teamwork when they don't learn to value everyone. This scenario reminds us that professionalism and teamwork means balancing personal preferences with cooperation and fairness. Alex needed to learn how to speak up, and the other team members shouldn't have taken him for granted. Good communication and respect are important in maintaining healthy and productive relationships within a team. Respect for the preferences of each team member and communicating with everyone about the difficulties you might be facing. In conclusion, both scenarios highlight the importance of ethical behavior, professionalism, and effective conflict management. Emma's situation teaches us the value of academic honesty and resisting negative peer pressure, how cheating can never be excused, and you should always stay true to ethical beliefs, while Alex's experience shows the importance of fairness and communicating in teamwork. One person's preference shouldn't be used against them, and you should remember, you can and should always speak up when you feel that you're being treated unfairly. As students and future professionals, we should always make decisions based on self-integrity, respect for others, and responsibility for your work. Thank you so very much for listening to my podcast. Goodbye!